screen share. All right, guys. If you're watching on YouTube or something, thanks for watching. Thanks for making this worth our efforts and time and all that stuff. So, real quick on Zoom, there's like a 40-minute time limit. Last time they waived it. If it cuts out this time, then this will be uploaded probably in 2 parts. Hopefully we can get it done in 2 and not 3. But if it does cut out for everyone who's here, I'll send another thing in the Zoom or in the class chat, and we'll get back in here. So anyway, these are my notes based on the study guide. Just like last time, guys, there's a lot more like little details to cover. Also, I may have to jump and like walk away for like a couple of minutes. I have some people doing some work at my house right now, and if I need to have a quick talk with them, I'll get back as quick as I can. Be maybe like 2-3 minutes that I'll be gone. So if that happens, if you're watching on YouTube, I recommend you skip a couple minutes. All right, guys. So the very first part here, empire and characteristics. As you can see, I kind of just wrote something there. There was no formal thing given, and there was nothing in the book that gave any specifics on empire or characteristics, like maybe a formal definition. There is somewhat of a definition on the next part, but as you can see, it's probably covered in number 2. So we'll kind of just jump ahead on that one. Second part, foundation and functions of imperialism, ideology, definition, motivation, justification. You can kind of see the, just what's in there. I would expect out of this that it, probably just something quick. I wouldn't anticipate more than one question on the quiz about something like this, but all the information should be there. I don't see anything special about this one in particular. Oh, that went way faster than I expected. Okay. Formal and informal imperialism, again, super duper straightforward. There it is. I don't think there's much more to be said on that guy. Now, colonialism, this one on the study guide, this is what she provided. I didn't even add anything to this. So I'm assuming that's literally the information she wants us to know. Yeah. So there were a couple of them on this study guide where she kind of put something and then just sort of gave us an answer. Seems like that. By the way, this entire first part, so if you haven't looked at the study guide yet, there's 2 parts. I'll scroll down so you can see. There's 10 on the first part, and then you can see where it says Enlightenment book, and then there's a second part starting over at 1. The entire first part is going to be off of the notes, mostly the notes that I put right here. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys, sorry. So pages 2 and 3, that's where this particular question was. But the impacts of European imperialism and colonialism, most of the first part is going to be from those notes. So when you see page numbers below, that's all from the Enlightenment book. I didn't specifically say that. So just so you know, that's the Enlightenment book. Cecil John Rhodes. This is copied and pasted from her notes. So anything on him, I mean, if there's something else, then she didn't tell us, because that's it right there. The next one, number 6, I also copied and pasted from the notes. There is a little bit more on this section in the notes. I tried to pull what I felt was the most important parts, just simply because, you know, I didn't want to make it like crazy long. The notes are already like 9 pages. I didn't want to, you know, make it too much. And I also wanted it to be sort of digestible and quick, so you can just kind of, you know, question, look for the answer, and not have to read, you know, like a page worth of stuff to try to find an answer. So there is more in the notes on this this particular subject. So, you know, economic and political motives of imperialism. You can find more in the notes. Not much. I think I pulled what was important out of there. This next part was interesting. That's why I have some notes here before we get into it. So this is 7, 8, and 9 from the first part of the notes. And I emailed her about this. And I asked her, like, can you kind of get some help? Because nothing was directly addressed on this part. It was kind of vague and like somewhat related in the notes, but there is nothing in the books, either book, about any of this material. So again, we're doing our best with this information, but it's pages 2 and 3 of the impacts of European imperialism and colonialism notes. And you can find it in the February 16th. If you go to, like, you know, on the side, on the left-hand side of Black Book, Blackboard, and you know, go to like the part that says like the notes and PowerPoints and all that stuff. February 16th is where you'd find this. There's other dates too, but I don't know that one and didn't keep looking. So give you a little explanation of that. I did, like I said, I emailed her and asked her, and it wasn't terribly helpful, the response, but it was something. So that's everything that I pulled out that even remotely mentioned, you know, the British, India, France, France and Indochina, or Africa. This is everything. So again, if you read it, it's not really a directly addressing what she's asking for, but it's the best we have. I'm hoping that it's good. Another part, this next part, United States as an imperial power, not really addressed in the notes, not in the book. So as you can see right there,
I used Google too, Jeremiah. When you were asking about it yesterday, I just went to Google because I'm like, I could not find it anywhere when I got home for that one.
that makes me feel a lot better, because I'll be honest, you know, I asked Jocelyn and one other person in the class that I talked to from time to time, at one point, like, hey, could you help me find something in the book? Because in the Enlightenment book, there was like literally about 65 pages that I had to skim through to find the answers for basically the second half of the second part of the notes. And at a certain point, when you're skimming that much, your eyes just don't catch things anymore. Like, you're just like, it's, you know, everything kind of becomes the same thing. And so I'm glad that you weren't able to find it either, because that means that my brain was still somewhat functioning for this part. Because I was trying to power through it. I was trying to get it done. I told you guys Thursday, and I wanted to stick to that, not just for you guys, but for me too. So there you go. These are Google, you know, definitions and information for you. I hope it's good. I hope it's what she wants. And if it isn't, I apologize, and I'll probably get them wrong too. So There you go. Jumping to the next part. Now, again, this part is all out of the Enlightenment book. There's no real notes, I don't think. Well, no, that's not true. There are some notes. And I can find that information. Actually, I can jump on Blackboard if needed, and I can do that at the end. But basically, if you look past like February 16th, whatever the next notes that pop up are, those are going to be where some of this information is. So the first one, this again was one where she sort of, this is all her. I didn't add anything to it because, to be honest, there wasn't a lot to go off of in the notes that added to this. And it seems like this maybe is what she's looking for, to just know the central concepts of the Enlightenment age. The central concepts were progress, use of reason, and the scientific method. Pretty self-explanatory, I would imagine. I don't think that there's going to be too much on this. If there is, I apologize, but it seemed like that's really kind of what she was looking for this, and she just gave it to us. The next part, so a long sort of piece of information here. Enlightenment definition, purpose, thoughts, thinkers, results, Enlightenment, European, intellectual, whatever, right? And so there's some scientists and stuff like that, some thinkers of the era, and then the Enlightenment ideas right there. So central concepts, Enlightenment ideas. I'm assuming she kind of makes a distinction between the two. And so there you go. That's what they are. Some of them do get defined. So in the next part, some of them were defined, some of them weren't. That's the weird part of it, is that in the notes, you can see reason and individualism. I like to color things just so it's easier to find for your eyes and stuff. But those were the only ones that were actually specifically addressed in the notes. However, this first part up here, that little paragraph does give a little bit more information. I thought it was good, so I put it in there. 50-50 chance that it actually gives you information that's on the quiz. Deism and deists. This was actually kind of a big thing that she discussed in class. I know that she took her time with it. And so, all right, she's in Mexico trying to connect. Oh, she's here. Hello.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry. I in Mexico. I had a family emergency.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to do my best. And thank you, Jeremiah, for everything you're doing to help us.
No problem.
Jeremiah, dope.
Like I said, guys, I would do this regardless, just because I want to, I want to have the information. So since I'm doing it, I might as well share it, because I'd be done either way. So I appreciate you guys, thanking me and stuff. It's awesome. But it's, I'd imagine someone else would probably be just as willing to do it. So it's all good. Anyway, deism and deists. This one, she did spend some time on this in class. I would actually be more surprised if there isn't a question about this. So deism, basically, they think, deism is basically the belief that there is a God, but sort of set everything in motion and then just pieced out. Didn't really like hang around. They're not really like, they're not Christian or anything like that. They don't believe in like intervention by a God or anything. Just sort of a starter of everything, and then went on to, I don't know, like study pottery or something. I don't know, but that's what they believe. So it's an important thing, actually. lot of people, a lot of founding fathers actually were deists, believe it or not. The results of revolutions, this was actually pretty well covered in the notes. You know, that, like I said, that next part of the notes after February 16th, maybe a few classes after, because she could have taken a couple of classes for that section of the notes. But after that, this one was covered really well in the notes. This is copy and pasted from the notes. So this should be a pretty easy, you know, slam dunk of a question when we get it on the quiz. Don't really see the need of going any further into it, but yeah, that one's going to be pretty straightforward, I think. This one was also copied and pasted from the notes. I didn't think it was great information, to be honest with you, but this is all she gave us. So I'm guessing this is everything she'd want us to know about that particular concept. Adam
I wish
Smith.
she would record
Oh.
her classes so we can go back and sometimes listen. I mean, try to listen. But I wish she would record her classes sometimes.
I was really actually, while I was doing this, I kept coming back to that, like, you know, is there a tab maybe where they are recorded? And I just didn't know or something. And I looked and
no, I asked her at the beginning because I told her, like,
Yeah.
when I signed up for this class, I'm a teacher. I'm not going to be able to be in the class. Do I need to be there? She's like, no, I can't record. Copyright or something. I'm like, every other class records, but whatever. But yeah, she says she can't record. I just think she doesn't know how.
Yeah.
I just feel like she just don't want to, friend. For real. Like real
Yeah.
talk. I just feel like she don't want to.
Yeah.
I agree.
Whatever it is, they're not, you know, it kind of sucks. Speaking of copyright, you know, I'm gonna copyright mine, so you guys all owe me royalties, you know, for watching this on YouTube, by the way. So
Jeremiah, we already owe you whatever. I mean, I can't owe you any more, Jeremiah. How much do you want me to owe you, sir?
nah, it's all good.
You know, we owe you everything, dog.
Nah, it's I'm messing with you. It's all good. Anyway, guys, Adam Smith, so study what we discussed in class. That didn't happen, let's be real. But these are the Blackboard notes that, you know, she gave us on it. So pretty straightforward. The next part, I'm gonna be honest with you. This part sucks. Like, this part is terrible, but I did my best. And this was like when I was like, all right, we're doing page numbers for stuff, because it got to the point. So this is really where like the notes sort of ended, and it was all book. It was all book. So just know that from number 8 and on for the second part, this is from the book. And so I did my best to give you guys page numbers and tell you where to find the information, because there's so much. This one question you can see went from page 52 to 59.
Which book is it?
The Enlightenment book.
Okay.
Everything in the second part is the Enlightenment book. You will not use the Revolutions book at all for this quiz. In my opinion, I got nothing out of this for anything that I did. Now, the first part, actually, even the first part, like, nothing's covered in here. So I wouldn't even mess with the Revolutions book for this quiz. Enlightenment, only thing you need, plus the notes and hopefully my study guide. Anyway, like I said, there's too much to include, because if I would have done notes on each of these guys, I probably would have added another 2 or 3 pages just to the study guide alone. And that's not my goal. My goal is to kind of make it as short as I can, so it's easy to find the information. And so have the book handy, because everyone who's mentioned here, you know, and there honestly, there may have been like 1 or 2 other people in there that that I might have missed, but I tried to find all the names put where they were. And so there you go. Positioning of the Enlightenment thinkers and thoughts within the society. That's going to be the very first part, basically like page 52, maybe even 50, 51. And then it goes into like the actual people themselves. And like, it's basically just 7 or 8 pages of like, this guy read this guy's stuff, like Hobbes read Grotius's work and said, I didn't agree with it. And then this is what he thought. Then the Pufendorf read Hobbes' work and said, nah, he was wrong too. Like it's dry, it's tedious. And so if you get any questions about any of these dudes, there you go. That's where you're going to find them. And that was really, honestly, probably the best way I could have done it, because it'd have been too much. It'd have been super wordy. It'd have been hard to find information otherwise. So I apologize if it's not the best way, but that's kind of just where I went with it. Okay, the private sphere and public sphere. So 9, 10, and 11. Yeah, 9, 10, and 11. I also emailed her about this. I bugged her a few times getting through this, because like it just wasn't very apparent where some of this information was. But you can see I do have page numbers. Basically 83 to 91 for 9, 10, and 11. They all sort of intermingled with each other. So private sphere and then sociability, because basically the public and private spheres were social spheres. It's how people, mainly the middle and upper class, associated with each other and within their own families. And so this became sort of like, the entire social net of like the more like city life. In the rural areas, it didn't change that much, but around big cities and more populated areas, that's what happened. There was a separation of private and public sphere. Again, mainly for people that were middle and upper class, because they could afford to do it. They had the extra income and the extra time to socialize. So just a little bit of information. Jürgen Habermas, he coined the term public sphere, as you can see in number 11. 9 and 10, I felt like kind of covered most of this information. I felt like question 11 was a little bit redundant, because it basically was just asking what 9 and 10 were, but all in one. So there you can see right there, there's absolutely more information in the book on these. Okay, so the page numbers, you will find a fair amount more information on this stuff. The problem is that if I included all of that again, the notes would have been insanely long. So I did my best to try to pull important information, but I could have missed something, because I honestly don't know exactly what she wants for it. So just know, any of these parts, book. Politics of Freemasonry. I put 88, and I guess I forgot to put the next part there. But just know, so if you see right here, it's 88, and then 88, and then number 14 is 92. And you can see actually for 13, it's 85. So 85 through 92 is going to cover 12, 13. Yeah, 12 and 13. But more specifically for Freemasonry, 88, I think it was maybe 88 and 89 for sure, maybe even on to page 90, is something that will have something to do with this. A lot of information in the book on the Freemasons. Definitely more than what I given the notes here, but I, again, tried to pull what was important there. Coffee houses, chocolate houses, and salons, they did span quite a few pages as well. But I did put pages for each subsection on this one. Because they were separated in the book. It was kind of weird. It would jump back and forth between like the coffee houses, chocolate houses, and then it would talk about the Masons, and then it would talk about the salons, and it was basically just all talking about different spheres. These are the different social spheres, the private and public spheres. So coffee houses, salons, and chocolate houses were the public sphere. Like that was where people went, because it was, it was, they saw it as fancy and, sort of like ritzy or whatever to go to these places. And so, yeah, there you go. The Freemasons were, I say there at the very end, they weren't officially public because of how secretive they were. Publishing revolution. Again, you could see in pages 92 to 99. This is why this one was so much harder, because it seems like a small little thing. But there's a lot to it. So if there's any information about printing that I didn't include there, you're going to want to look in the book. It's a lot. Publishers Book Guilds. This is the one where I couldn't find it, so I asked for help and luckily got some help there. This, I think I did a pretty good job of pulling what was important, but it does extend a little bit after it. It kind of got to information that I really didn't think was all that important. But if I missed something, you'll find it for sure. And then the last little part here, guys, Enlightenment and Revolution. This part was weird. This part was super weird, because there were parts that were like, oh yeah, the Enlightenment led directly to the Revolution. And then there were parts that said, well, actually Revolution was sort of the opposite of the Enlightenment. It kind of was against it. Mostly referring to the French Revolution. Now, the French Revolution started basically as a class struggle and turned into a really bloody and violent, affair. People were beheaded and it was really gruesome. And so arguments are made that the first part of the revolution, before it became violent, was more of an Enlightenment inspired thing, but the second it got violent and stuff, that was very anti-Enlightenment. That's all covered in the book on those pages. Now, the chapter does extend a few pages after 116, and they do still talk about this concept. So I'm assuming, since those are the page numbers she gave us, that's whatever information she wants us to know is only on those pages, but there's more after it. So don't just know that, I guess, just know that. But tried to pull some important stuff, but of course 2 pages of the book is a lot more information than this little couple sentences that I got here. But anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope I kind of wanted to do this just to put everything in context. And hopefully, if you guys have any thoughts, please add them, because again, I'm not the teacher. I'm in the same boat as all of you. If there's information that she's looking for that I don't know she's looking for, I might not have it here. But yeah, just to kind of get you guys into my head and understand the notes, so that you understand where I'm coming from and where I'm pulling information, and if there's more, or if I think that that one, a certain concept is nailed down pretty solid, Yeah, now you guys know. And if you don't have the book, please go buy it. The Enlightenment one, blue and purple.
Yeah, I feel like the alignment book is the one that's gonna be very helpful for us on this test.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
other
you said,
one's useless.
everything, yeah, everything I found as well on the book, and uh basically just a little heads up. I feel like um most of the test, bro, I feel like it's gonna be more of a on the enlightenment, because or the hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second, please.
No problem. I agree, though. I definitely think the Enlightenment is going to be the focus of the quiz, for sure. There's going to be other stuff on the first part, but I would say probably 2/3 of the test will probably be Enlightenment stuff. So
Yeah,
the
definitely,
book's going to be
bro.
important.
Correct. Yeah, like I said, everything should be on that book. Other than that, I don't feel like I mean, she talks too much in class, so I feel like
I feel
she
like I
talked
just
more
talked
about
too much.
enlightenment, and she talked about chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mhm.
So I feel like, I mean, I focused more on those, and then that's like a lot of information going in there. So I feel like I focused more on that, and I feel like your notes as well. So I mean, just a heads up, if you don't have the book as well, you'll need it for this test, definitely. I feel like
100%. 100%. I don't see how you're gonna get through it without the Enlightenment book. Just because, like I said, that there's the last test. I'm just gonna be real. The last test, every single question was covered in the notes that I did. Like I found every single one in my notes. I don't think that's going to be the case this time, but I think that you'll be able to find it going off of the pages that I gave in the notes. Because I definitely, it's covered in the pages. So if you have the book, I think it'll be a lot easier to just sort of like, okay, like it said like 82 and 83, like boom, and just scroll through it, find it. If you don't have the book, you know, and you're only relying on my notes, I don't think it's going to be 100% this time. I'm just being 100% with you. So does anyone have questions or anything else to add? This is the time, like if you have questions for me, I'll do my best, or questions in general. I'll take that as a no.
No,
think
but I just
you-
want to say thank you again for those
Yeah.
the page numbers even included, because like you said, you couldn't find it. And I was looking in the notes because I don't have the book, but I just ordered it on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow at 11 a.m. So I'll have it soon. But I was
Yeah.
looking in the notes and I couldn't find it. But those page numbers that you put on there, I appreciate that, because now when I do get the book, I won't have to go crazy trying to look through the whole dang, all the chapters, trying to find those in the book. So I don't have any questions, but I do appreciate you putting those page numbers down.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think you covered it as much as you could without some of the information that she didn't give. So appreciate you, man.
That was the tough part, is that some of it just wasn't there. Like I did not want to have to Google stuff, but I did. And so it is what it is. All right, guys. Well, feel free to hit me up in the, on the little chat thing, either in the thing or send me a private message if you are comfortable, like, like asking the question publicly. I'll do my best. And yeah, I wish everyone the best of luck on the quiz. I think we'll do fine. I really do. I don't think it's going to be too bad or anything like that. Something in the chat. Oh, there's a thank you. Awesome. All right, guys. I'll let you go. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube. I'll get that put in the chat as soon as I can. And have a good rest of your day, guys.
You guys have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you again, Jeremiah.
No
Thanks,
problem. guys.
Jeremiah. Later, friend.
Later, friend.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
No problem. No problem. How do I end? Oh, end button. That makes sense. See you guys.